Welcome everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about how to factor by grouping. So if we're given a polynomial with 4 terms, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we can factor this by using factor by grouping. So first thing we need to do is put this in order of degree. So we want to make sure that we put this in standard order of the biggest degree variable to the smallest degree variable. You can see these two are out of order here. So if we switch our order up, we go 6u to the third power plus 6u to the second minus 7u minus 7. Now you can see our degrees are in descending order. First thing we're going to look for, is there a greatest common factor we can take out of all 4 terms? So looking at this, is there a greatest common factor between these 4 terms? And looking at this, there is not. So we can move on to the next step by grouping. We can group the first 2 together. So if we use parentheses, we're going to do 6u cubed plus 6u squared. And then remember, when we subtract something, that's the same as adding a negative. So we're going to group the second 2 together. We're going to do a plus, a negative 7u minus 7. So now we've grouped the first 2 terms together and the second 2 terms together. From here, we're going to look to see, is there a greatest common factor from the groups? And if we look here, well, yes, 6 is definitely a common factor, and u squared is a common factor. So we're going to move that out front. So it's going to give us 6u squared. And then when we remove that out, that's going to leave us with just u, and that's going to leave us with just 1. And then check really quick to make sure that if we redistributed back in, would we get the original? We do that just to make sure that we factored out that greatest common factor properly. So 6u squared times u would be 6u cubed, yep, and then 6u squared times 1 would give you 6u squared. So we know this is factored correctly. Over here, we are going to do the same thing. We got to factor out a common term. Well, I see that negative 7 is a common factor. So we're going to factor negative 7 out of there. So we factor out negative 7, and that leaves us with just u. And when we factor out negative 7 from negative 7, that leaves us with a positive 1. From here, you can see that the expression in the parentheses match. So now we have another common factor that we can factor out. So we factor out the u plus 1. And what's left is the 6u squared minus 7. And now this is what we get when it's in complete factored form. So again, walking through this, we put it in order first. We couldn't take out a greatest common factor. We then grouped them, take out a greatest common factor from each group, and then the items, the factors in parentheses matched, so we were able to factor that out, leaving us with our factored form here at the bottom.